You can rely on the European Union. We will be on your side for as long as it takes. And we are committed to building a free, sovereign and prosperous Ukraine within the European Union. Thank you, Volodymyr.
Thank you so much.
Statement by the President of the European Commission.
Yeah, dear Volodymyr, dear Antonio, commissioners, today we stand in Kyiv on a grim anniversary. It has been 4 years since Russia launched its full-scale war against your country. But even in the face of this terror, the resilience of the Ukrainian people remains undimmed. We have seen 4 years of extraordinary courage from your soldiers and from your citizens, whose bravery will echo through history. This will never be forgotten. In those 4 years, the support from your friends and allies has been unwavering in Europe and beyond, and you can count on it. Since the beginning of the war, the European Union has provided nearly 200 billion euros in military and financial support. More than any other partner, and there is more to come. And let me spell out 3 ways of support, how our support will be maintained and how it will be reinforced. The first one is the European Union loan of 90 billion euro. We call it the Steel Porcupine loan because it should give Ukraine the strength of a steel porcupine, indigestible for potential invaders. Let me be crystal clear, and the President of the Council also said it. The loan was agreed by 27 heads of state and government in the European Council. They have given their word. This word cannot be broken. So we will deliver on the loan, one way or the other. Let me be very clear, we have different options and we will use them. Now let's look at the loan itself. The first priority of the Porcupine loan is to address your most urgent defense needs. It will help to procure, to produce, to develop, and to secure advanced defense equipment for the brave Ukrainian forces. That ranges from drones to missiles to ammunition, and the work has already started. Together with the Ukrainian forces, we have identified a first package, a priority package. Our aim is to deliver it before Easter. It includes drones and ammunition. And in parallel, we are working intensely on the integration of both our defense industries. We can learn a lot from the Ukrainian defense industry. You can count on us with our well-established structures in the defense industries. So more integration is the goal. Of course, the ultimate aim is that your soldiers will gain a decisive edge on the battlefield to protect Ukraine. And of course, the European Union will have access to valuable, cutting-edge innovation that is also applicable to other industries. The second priority is to help you through this harsh winter. Invincibility tents, we have seen it this morning, we visited one, and they have become the symbol of the Ukrainian solidarity and the unbreakable resolve of Ukraine. In this difficult moment, let me reassure you that we stand firmly by your side. The European Commission is the largest donor of energy support to a value of 3 billion euros so far. Since the start of the war, we have provided over 11,000 generators and almost 1,000 delivered in January alone. But of course, we have to go further. And therefore, we have now a new package of 100 million euro to deliver immediate support. That's what is needed right now. It's available on the market. So far, the money was not there. So the 100 million package can immediately be invested. And while we help you through this winter, we start preparing together with you the next winter. We will work on a new, we call it Winter Energy Plan for 26 and 27. The name is Repair, Rebuild and Restart. It will include a package of 920 million euros to stabilize Ukraine's energy system. So just to give a few examples, it will secure the steady flow of electricity across the country. It will accelerate the decentralization of the production of renewable energy. You mentioned how important it is. It will, of course, repair and rebuild and modernize the grids. And it will repair and restart the damaged power plants too. Let me add that there is a lot of coordination that has to go on because lots of in-kind support is needed. It is available, but we have to bring it together. And therefore, Commissioner Jürgensen and Deputy Prime Minister Šmihal will convene an energy Rammstein in March already in order to coordinate and have a very seamless and precise work together from both sides, the Ukrainian and the European Union. It will ensure that Ukraine gets exactly the supplies and the material it needs now. Finally, let me address the issue of energy security within the European Union. The Russian attacks on the Druzhba pipeline have had a direct impact on European energy security. We condemn sharply these Russian attacks. I would like to thank Prime Minister of Croatia, Andrej Plenković, for his efforts to secure and increase the transport of oil to Hungary, to Slovakia, and to Serbia through the Adriatic pipeline. And in the meantime, we ask for the repairs on the pipeline after the Russian attacks to be accelerated. Now, our third priority is to maintain maximum pressure on the aggressor. We will soon get our 20th sanctions package over the line. Our sanctions will keep draining Russia's revenues and weakening its war machine, and we are closely coordinating with our G7 partners for maximum scope and impact. Dear Volodymyr, this morning we honored your fallen at the People's Memorial in Maidan Square. And today I'm also thinking of their comrades bravely holding the line in the trenches. They fight for peace. They fight for a better future for their children. They fight for a simple dream of a free and sovereign Ukraine at the heart of a free Europe. So let me conclude by saying to them, Europe will stand by you and stand with you until you have made that dream come true. Long live Europe and Slava Ukraini.
Glory to heroes, and we are moving on to the Q&A part. And please, first question goes to Apostroph.
Denis Lushko, Apostroph. This question will probably be addressed to the European Commission President. So on the anniversary of the full-scale invasion, it was planned to introduce the 20th package of the sanctions against Russia, as far as I know. Please tell us why they couldn't be introduced, and can we set a deadline for the adoption of the 20th package of sanctions, possibly in a reduced or rechanged format?
So the sanctions have to be adopted by unanimity, and this will not change, of course. But we have been working on 19 sanctions packages with success. None of it was easy. We had to negotiate any package. But from the experience that we passed 19 packages of sanctions, I'm confident that we're also going to pass the 20th one. It's a matter of time, of course. You're right, it has to be there as soon as possible. But as we all have the same aim to reduce the revenues for Russia and to dry out the war chest, there's a lot of, rightly so, pressure on us to deliver as soon as possible.
Next question, please, Bloomberg.
Thank you. Madam President, Ukraine has asked to become a member of the EU by 2027. Is there a way, yes or no, for it to happen? And if so, how? And President Zelensky, I have a question for you as well. You have just addressed the European Parliament today, explaining to them the importance of having a specific date. What is the latest you are willing to wait for EU accession? Thank you very much.
So on your question, is there a way for Ukraine to become a member of the European Union? The answer is a very clear yes, of course. And Ukraine is on a good way to become a member of the European Union. You all know that this is a merits-based process, it has to be, but this also means that the speed depends on the candidate country. I must say Ukraine is outstanding in the speed of which it fulfills the necessary reforms. These are tough reforms, not easy reforms. You need to convince many people to go for it, to modernize the country. It's for the benefit of the country. And it is deeply impressive to see the enormous progress Ukraine is making despite fighting a war for their survival. This should never be forgotten. Of course, from my side, and we spoke about it, a lot of encouragement to keep up the good pace, the speed of the reforms, because this then, of course, leads to the merit that is yours, the accession to the European Union. I'm confident in this process because we've seen how much Ukraine has progressed. I understand very well that for you a clear date is also important. The date you set is your benchmark that you want to match. You know that from our side, dates by themselves are not possible, but of course the support that you can reach your goal is absolutely clear on our side.
Thank you very much for your question. So first of all, I think that we are, it's true that we want fast track for membership, and we are thankful for big support and with candidate status and etc. from EU institutions. And I know that Putin will block our membership in the future. I don't want for my country, our people, which they live with all these challenges during all these years of this full-scale invasion, all this war with this tragedy, and that's why we know we don't want to have the same what we have now. Maybe it will not be in the future.